Speaking of firepower off the bench, let's move right into our 3-on-3 questions. KGW.com, you can view our full answers there. You can comment on them and let us know how you really feel about our answers. So let's get on into it. The first question has to do with that firepower. Meyers Leonard played a big role off the bench the past 2 games. Before Saturday's game against the Kings, Leonard had played a total of 15 minutes. 11 in the opener, 4 in Friday's loss to the Kings. Then, in the last 2 games, he plays nearly 20 minutes per game, averaging 9.5 points, 5.5 rebounds. So, the questions. What do you think made Stotts go with Leonard, and do you trust this very small sample size of the new and improved Meyers Leonard?
Man, remember on Monday, Orlando, during the Memphis game in the second quarter, when I said Meyers is going off again, and we said, how long are we going to talk about it on Wednesday? We knew this was coming.
I was talking to you yesterday when I was coming up with the questions, and I asked, do we really want to talk about Meyers Leonard? But you have to.
I smiled as soon as he had the little mini dream shake with his back to the basket. I said, oh, we're talking about Meyers Leonard.
To go back to the actual question itself, no, I don't trust this 2-game sample size. This has been what he's been his whole career. He'll give you a couple games where he shows you a lot, and then all of a sudden he'll give you a couple games where you're just like, who is this guy out there on the floor? And the only reason he really got into the game against Sacramento in that first game was because Yusuf Nurkic was in foul trouble. Ed Davis had played a lot of minutes in the first quarter and had sprained his ankle. Yeah. So at that point, Stotts needed to go with someone else off the bench, and it was either Swanigan or Leonard. And we had seen, since Swanigan got inserted into that starting lineup against the Nuggets, that very first shift he played against the Nuggets, he played really well. Yeah. After that, he's really struggled in the games following as well. And so I think Stotts just took a chance to put Meyers Leonard out there. I think part of it was they were playing the Kings also. Whether he would ever admit that or not, probably would never admit it, but I'm sure that was part of it too. But he went with Meyers. Meyers didn't play all that well in that game, but he went with him again Saturday, and that was when we saw the spark he provided, and he gave it to the Blazers again on Monday. So as long as he keeps playing as well as he's playing, he's going to get those minutes over Swanigan. Because previously it was Swanigan was in the rotation and Leonard was out. Right now it's Leonard's in the rotation and Swanigan is out. We'll see what happens when Al-Farouq Aminu comes back in probably a week. But for the time being, as long as Meyers Leonard continues to put up these type of numbers, he's going to get those 20 minutes.
What I was surprised to see was Stotts go back to Meyers Leonard in Saturday's game. Yeah. Because he didn't play well on Friday. He played really quite poorly.
Granted, no one played well.
Nobody played well, and that's true. After the Memphis game, they talked to, it was on Comcast Sports Northwest. After the game, they talked to Jason Quick and asked him about Meyers Leonard. I think it was after the Memphis game. And he talked about how Meyers Leonard in the past week had this great week of practice. Before the Orlando game, he had kind of played on the scout team during practice and playing as Nikola Vucevic. And that, according to Jason Quick, was one of Leonard's best practices ever, and that he had consistently performed very well in practices. So you see what Meyers Leonard came into at the beginning of the season. He was talking all about how he'd had such a great offseason, how he was in such a good place, much like the same thing you heard from him the year before. But I also think the difference with Meyers Leonard this year is he understood that he wasn't going to be given anything this year. He knew he had fallen out of the rotation. He knew he didn't have Stotts' trust, and that he was going to be given 0 to start, and he would have to earn it. And by the account that Jason Quick gave, he did. Yeah. He earned it in practice, and Stotts, to Stotts' credit as a coach, gave him a chance. And in 2 games, it's only 2 games, but he made Stotts look good with that trust, because he did play really well against Memphis and against the Kings on Saturday. And I'm not bought in either. I'm not jumping on the Meyers Leonard bandwagon, because just like you said, Nate, he's had games like this. He's had 2 or 3 game stretches like this throughout his career, and then it just goes away. And so I would need to see probably like 2 weeks of this, not just 2 games. But for right now, he's playing well. Take it while you're getting it. And if Meyers Leonard really pulls this out and becomes reliable, he's exactly what the Blazers need. A 7-footer who can stretch the floor, who can defend inside. He's not only what the Blazers need, any team in the NBA would need that. And so good for Meyers Leonard.
This totally makes sense why this is happening right now.
Yeah.
Terry Stotts is really mixing up that lineup. The rotation, he's putting players in, and he's mixing it up more than he probably has since he's been in Portland, at least kind of thinking back to my knowledge of what he's done here. And so this, you mentioned Caleb Swanigan.
Yeah.
You're experimenting with that. What's he going to give you? Okay, yes, we know he's a rookie. He's going to have that one good game, but then he's going to fall back because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Shabazz Napier comes in. He creates this spark. He's riding the hot hand. He's moving him into the lineup. This makes a whole lot of sense that you would try this with as many different players as you could.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing what Meyers Leonard can bring. It's a spark off the bench. You just hope that this is consistent. Like you mentioned, it's 2 games. Let's not get crazy. But take it when you can get it. And
Right.
if he's going to do these type of things, keep giving him these minutes. There's time for him to take right now. All of these bigs can take this stuff, especially with Al Farouk Aminu out. There's more time to give to different players, even though he's not a back-to-the-basket type dude. But if you pair him with somebody like Ed Davis, that gives him time to move around, to play on the perimeter a little more. And the other thing that I noticed with Meyers Leonard in this last game against Memphis was that he wasn't shooting 3.
Right.
It wasn't
That's
that he
a
was
good
sitting there
point.
settling on the 3 ball.
Yeah.
And even when he had that one look, I know a few people have talked about this, but it wasn't there. He didn't catch it right. Instead of forcing it or even thinking about it, it was another dish. Go set a screen. Keep it moving.
Did you
get the ball back.
watch Stotts after he passed up?
He was
3 though?
pissed.
He was so mad.
He was mad.
He was upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like that Meyers had the confidence to know, okay, that's not a good look. I'm going to get another look again. I'll get mine. And to see him with his back to the basket, he saw a smaller guy on him, broke him down, little pivot, little shoulder shake, and dropped it in. That was nice to see that. The tip in was great. And I think when you make your first couple of baskets, the confidence just starts flowing. And that's what we've come back to with Meyers Leonard. We've discussed this since we've been doing this, is that it's between the ears, and if he has the confidence going, that's a mental thing. This guy can be a force. We've seen him in person, what he looks like. I mean, this guy is a beast. So I laugh when people talk smack to him on social media because I'm like, if you saw this guy in person, there is no way you would say that to his face because he would crush you.
Just stop talking smack to professional athletes on social media.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But to Jared's point of Meyers Leonard, knowing he had to earn everything this year and that he was starting basically at 0 and had to make what he can out of this season, I think that also relieved, in a way, a little pressure off
Bingo.
of him.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because he wasn't expected to be a key contributor to this team this year. And so when that happens, there's a weight that's just gone that he's had his entire career since he came to Portland. And so with that gone, maybe the confidence rises a little bit because he's not putting so much pressure on himself. Where
You have nothing to lose.
Yeah, where if he misses, the first couple baskets, he's like, woe is me, man. Everyone expects I need to be doing this and that to help the team win. Now it's like, I'm just going to give it my best in the minutes that I have out there to try to help this team win.
And it solidified a role. And if you talk to players that come off the bench, they want things to be as predictable as possible. Even though you don't get that coming off the bench. No. You know that your number could be called at any time. But I think that there's a comfort level involved with where he's at. And it goes back to what you're saying in those expectations and putting that pressure on him that he has to produce because he's earning the contract extension and people are hating on him and all that stuff. All of that plays into his mind. This is something that he takes to heart. And so I think you deal with the less amount of pressure as possible with this guy, creates comfort, you get production. And at least for 2 games, you were able to see him do something like that.
Something else and this might be nothing, I don't know, I'm not inside Stott's head, but the 2 players who've moved into the rotation, and I don't know if Meyers Leonard is in the rotation yet, it's just been 2 games, but in the past 2 weeks, it's been Shabazz Napier and Meyers Leonard. And those 2 players, when they're playing right, are known for their offense. And so I just wonder if Stotts is looking for a little help with this offense that's really been struggling.